Hello, West Creek Stampers. This is Kay. This is Monday, and it is August 15th. I'm here to show you how to put together the card kit that you got if you ordered the card kit for this month from me, and to show you a couple other ideas how to use the Wonderful World paper. So let's get started here. First of all, I want to say Anne won the door prize this time. And congratulations to Anne. She can pick out of my prize basket. Here is the host code for this current period. I'm not going to say month because I kind of start with those host codes kind of in the middle of the month sometimes, and they only are good for 30 days. So just check with me if you're not sure and you want to put an order in. So the first card I'm going to show you is this one. This is torn paper. I believe I got this idea from watching a video of my friend Jill Stover, who is also in Jody Breckbell's group. So first of all, we have Petal Pink cardstock for the base, and I did send out an email with the dimensions and the measurements on a PDF. So if you want to reproduce these cards, you can look at that. Or if you didn't make it to class or get a kit, you can make these cards anyhow. So the next thing we do is have a piece of Petal Pink cardstock, and this one is 5 1/4 by 4. And I did the stamping. I used Sending Smiles. I used soft suede ink, and I did the stamping on this on my Stamparatus simply because of getting it straight. So that is how I did this. I have this one already done. I'm going to show you how I did the tearing part, which is something that if you don't do it a certain way, your outside pieces are going to be all wrinkled up. So what I did was, you don't want to go any wider for your opening than this piece of DSP. And this DSP is from the Textured Chic DSP. That piece is 2 1/2 by 5 1/4 to go across the width of your card. So you don't want to go any wider than that. I didn't really do any measuring when I did mine. I held down the outside and I just tore on each side a little bit across, always pulling on the center piece. And you can go across here as far as you want. And see how wrinkled this is getting? This is how the outside would be if you weren't holding a finger there firmly. So because of how thick this gets when you roll it up, you're going to cut some of this off. And you can cut off as much as you want. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no measurement here. And then you're going to wind this up as tight as you can. And then I put a little bit of Tombow glue under there. One other person who was here in class did some of their snail or Stamp and Seal like all the way across here, and that held it nicely too. But this is how I did it. And then usually I will put a weight on there. Usually it's my phone when I'm working on cards. So then the way I like to put this on, you can put your printed paper either down here or on the back. I like to put it on the back of here and line it up tight. If you have some hanging out over the edge, you can always snip that off with scissors. And then that goes down straight on the front. And in your envelope, I'm gonna need to weight that as soon as I pull this card away. till it dries. In your envelope, you should find some pearls, and I just put 3 pearls here across the top. And that's all there is to that card. It's very simple. I also did one another way, and that is using the DSP to tear and then stamp your greeting right in here. So that makes a quick and easy card, and depending on your DSP, that's all you need. You don't need any dies, you don't need ribbon. This DSP is gorgeous. Again, that is that texture chic. And if you got the paper share, not from this mini catalog, but from the annual catalog, you would have some of that. Okay, so our next one is a Christmas card, and we're using Sweet Candy Canes, both the ink and, both the stamps and the die. So this die right here is in the die set for that, and also the one that cuts out the candy cane. So the card base here is white, and I'm really not into candy canes, but I really liked this set. So in this stamp set, you can stamp those candy canes, or you can, if you have the candy, that sweet, let me see here, what is the name of that paper is called Sweetest Christmas DSP. And you would have that if you got that in the most recent paper share we had. You can either cut those out by fussy cut, or you can die cut them. Those candy canes are printed right on the paper, and this is what they look like. There's a variety of colors. So when you got your kit, you may not have the same one that I have here. So then I used my Tombow and glued the back of this die cut. This die is in the set of dies that goes with that set. It makes a really pretty overlay. You can put 2 on, put 1 on backwards, and have it crisscross. It's very easy. So you use this is Garden Green, and I used a 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so the next is your vellum. I put some glue right in the middle, or you can use your other adhesive. And then after I put across my DSP across the center, I look to see where my candy cane is going to be, and you can lift this and put a dot of glue under there. Remember, you have to be careful with vellum because the glue will show through. So apparently I didn't, I went ahead and stamped and cut out this die. I used the circle from Tasteful Label dies to cut this, that I don't think they're current anymore, but then it just fit nicely with those words. You can use any die, circle shaped die, or you can just cut a little square there, but I kind of liked the look of this one. And then I did pop that up a bit. And then I used this real red ribbon. This one, I believe, is not current anymore, but there is one in the new catalog that is just as pretty, and tied a little bow and put on my candy cane. So then I used a glue dot to fasten that down, and then you want to snip off these tails to the length that you want. For the inside, I used may the good times today become the cherished memories. No, I didn't. I used wishing you lots of love and joy and happiness this Christmas season and always. I stamped that inside with real red ink. So that is that Christmas card. And then as a bonus, I found these candy canes down at BB's. And those of you who are in the area know about BB's. It's hit or miss, and sometimes you find something that just really goes with what you need. And that was the case because I had already decided on this card. And then I went down there. These were 20 in a box for 50 cents. 2 boxes for $1. So I ended up getting this to add to your kit because one of the dies in the sweet candy canes, and I don't see the blank one here, but you can see the one that I have right here. I think it's laying over here to the side. Now this die you can put on the front of your card. I've seen it used on the front of a card with ribbon through, but it fits right over a candy cane. So you put your top in and then the bottom after stamping, of course. So for the candy cane that I gave you, there's a gummy candy on there. I took the one off of the one that I had, and then I moved the ribbon down, but the ribbon just went perfect, and everything else with this for just a little extra in your kits. So I used the same words, the candy cane wishes and mistletoe kisses. When I stamped this tag, then I cut out my die first, and I had that frame to lay that in, to lay the tag in so I could line it up. Now, I really had a hard time getting this straight, and I think I put my sticker on a little crooked on this one. But this looks crooked when you look at it from up here, and there's a lot of red ink got on here. I'm going to use some soap and water and wash that off. But it does stamp nice and straight on the tag to be used for that candy cane. So that is that card. The other card I did was Sweet Songbirds. And this card idea came from Jody Breckbill. As a demonstrator, she gives us some free PDFs and ideas from time to time. And this was on her list of PDFs. So we're using the Tahitian Tide cardstock on this one. And this is your base. Just a 5.5 by 4.25 piece of Tahitian Tide. And I used one that I had damaged for myself. This is your front. This is this part right here. So the way this goes together is this one got a little dirty, and so I decided I'm going to stamp on the back. After you have it stamped, of course, you want to wrap your 3x8 piece of cardstock around your white center, and if you want that more perfect here at the bottom, you can cut your white a little bit smaller, but that's the way it lines up. And then you're using your 2224 DSP strip right here on the front. Now there is quite a bit of stamping to this. There is a punch with the Sweet Songbirds. I had trouble with my ink. Those of you who came to class found out the trouble I had with my ink. I found something else out, and what happened was my ink was very juicy and kind of frothy and bubbly. So I didn't figure that out until the night before, or I would have had it replaced before class, because Stampin' Up, I will tell you, they are one of the best places to replace things that are not working out for you or there's a problem with. So I found, after everybody left, I was using the Stampin' Pierce mat. That helped. But also, I'm looking right now for my piece of white scrap. Here we go. Also, we used to use these tiles, which makes it very firm. And you can see how bubbly that is on there. On Monday evening, when I was getting ready for this class, I was stamping. I scraped my ink pad and re-inked it and tried all kinds of things. So there, that one did not come out as good as some of them. I'm just going to stamp a couple of them to show you, but it seems like if you stamp on something more solid, then hold it there for a while, it kind of spreads. There's no rhyme or reason for the way this one was stamping. And we just did the best we could. Everybody was a good sport about it. Stampin' Up is replacing it. And then I had a lot of comments that, well, it looks like more like a bird because they have feathers, and that's all uneven. And so we made out okay. To get it in the punch, I'm going to show you a little bit how that goes. This is in the bottom here. One of the things that you can use is like this, your finger. If you find that it's not lining up, then that means you need to cut a corner off. This one's working, so I can't really show you how you'll come up against a roadblock when you're putting it in your punch. And it depends on where you stamp on your paper and how big your paper is, whether you have anything to hold on to. But usually I can do it with my finger. The other thing that really works well is our tool, and it was in the basket. Take your pick tool. The gummy end of it works really well to just push that down on whatever you're trying to line up. Now, don't you know, every time I do a video, I look around and I think I have everything, and now I see my take your pick tool. Okay, so we're going to stamp his wing the same way, and I like that one a little bit more ink on it, and we'll see how that one's a little better. Okay, so here, and the other thing I'll tell you, if you get paper stuck in your punches that you can't get out, just punch it and then shake it out and it will come out. So here is your wing, and I just want to show you, I did see my take your pick tool after I was jabbering, and if you can move it around inside your punches if you have problems. The other thing is, once you get it where you want it, you can do a light squeeze on there and then just check it out and make sure it's lined up where you want it, and then punch. Okay, so there's our little wing, and we do get a lot of little pieces with this one. I used the mini dimensionals and popped my little wing up, and you can put that just wherever you feel like. He can be resting Or on this one that I made, he looks like he's a little happy and he's fluttering. So, one of the stamping things you're going to do is his eyes. This stamp set has a lot of little parts. So his eyes are right there. Okay, I'm going to close some things here before I get in it. And then his little beak, I used Daffodil Delight cardstock and punched that out. And then I used a little bit of Tombow on that. And you can put it either on the beak or on your bird. I had a couple newbies here this time. The one had never done any. The other one hadn't for a while. So this card kind of was quite a challenge for them, but I think they enjoyed it. Okay, so we need to stamp our circle. This one is a little off, so we're going to stamp on the back. And that's one thing I want to remind you. When you're stamping, always stamp before you fasten it down. So I'm using Early Espresso for this branch. This branch is in the Sweet Songbirds. I'm going to take that off of that tile because I'm going to stamp off of the paper here. And I'm going to stay kind of low and just stamp that branch right there. And that came out better this time than the first time. Okay, our words. We stamped our words and our notes. On here, we stamped with Memento Black. And I am going to put those words right about here. And then I'm going to stamp some notes up here. Okay, so all we have left on our circle is our Parakeet Party leaves. Now, I ran into trouble with this Parakeet Party also. So, Stampin' Up! Is replacing it. It was foamy on me. But how I did this with the leaves, you can see 2 of my leaves are stamped on the circle. The other 3 are popped up. Okay, so they actually stamp pretty nicely. I'm not going to put anything under there. Hopefully, I'm not sorry for that. But there is enough of a gap between those 2 sets of leaves that you can put down a scrap piece of white paper when you're stamping it and catch those 3 leaves. Because really, if you were stamping, they would go off the paper. Now, one of my stampers did end up getting all of her leaves on the paper, and that was good. You know, the beauty of coming to my card classes is it's your card. You can make it however you want. And then I just cut big around and left those 3 together. And I like to have this a little more rounded. Of course, when I'm on camera, things don't turn out like you exactly like them to. And then I pop those leaves. But that's how you do those leaves. I got a little bit of spot of black ink there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay. So we can go ahead and put our DSP on the front of here. And stuff is sliding into my way. You could have there's a couple different prints of this DSP. You might not have this one exactly that I have. The other thing we can do, well, we're going to stamp this piece first. Hopefully a little better than I did the first time. And I'm going to put some notes in the corner. Now, one of my newbies stamped in all 4 corners, and it looked great. But that's what I'm doing with it. Okay, and then on the front it says, "A little bird told me." In the inside, "It's your special day." So I kind of eyeballed this. I didn't have too much trouble stamping it straight. It might be different while we're on video. And then that is all there is to it. So then we're putting adhesive on the inside of our blue 3x8 section. And then we're putting adhesive on the back. And just like that, we are just about done. Now, when you put your circle on here, you want to make sure you only have adhesive on the one side. And you can put that as far over as you want. I did pop up my little bird. And I have the minis here. You could use the larger ones on this. Okay, so that is all there is to it. And you would just want to put him down there. Like that is good. Okay, so who wouldn't be happy to get that card in the mail? Needed sympathy cards. Unfortunately, I have needed sympathy cards here recently, and I saw these 2 ideas using that Wonderful World paper, and I just thought they were gorgeous. They are so easy to make. 2 of the sheets of the paper have these big flowers on, so you could do more cards, a lot more cards like that using different flowers. But this yellow here, I have a layer of vellum. I put some pearls on there, and this is also in that paper pack. For this one, I did have some of this left, but I cut it wrong. So I used this out of my In Color paper pack, and I think that will look just as pretty with that color. That is Pear Pizzazz. So I will give the kit to make these 2 cards to a random winner who, if you like and comment on this video. I will do a drawing in a couple days. I'll give people a chance to watch it and give you the supplies to make this. It's not going to be stamped, but I will give you the tags to use, and I will give you the paper. So I want to thank you for watching. Our next class is September, and gee whiz, my schedule was laying here for me to tell you, and I guess I'm going to have to walk away and go grab it. So Tuesday, September 13th, and Thursday, September 15th at 10, 2, and 6. Now remember, August 30th, we're getting together to prep for the Sweet Grace cards. And on September 6th, we are meeting to work on those 500 cards that we're donating to Sweet Grace Ministries. So on August 30th, it's a Tuesday. We're thinking 10 to 1. On the September 6th, 10 to 2. I do have a list of people who have signed up. I will send you a reminder closer to the time. If you want to have something, a snack while you're here, if everyone brings a snack, I think we'll have plenty. I'll have water bottles and paper products, but looking forward to that. And thank you so much for watching. Have a nice rest of the day.